Hey guys, welcome back to my channel again. Luke here today, and very excited to share with you that today Ghost will be joining me. If you guys are in the community for a while, you'll... Oh, sorry, there he is. Say hi, Ghost.
Yes. Hi.
Hey.
How's it going? Pleasure to be here.
So if you know Ghost, if you're part of the community, you would have known Ghost for a while. He's a very bright mind, so excited to have him on today. And we're going to be talking about network effects and how Overledger is introducing a network for a hyper-connected world, right? And so we're going to be touching on McKelvey's...
What a day.
What was that, sorry?
Well, we had a really interesting day today.
Yeah, we did, actually. If you I'm assuming if you're keeping up to date with Quant, they announced their networks, the network side. It's the Overledger network, and it's touches on gateways, things like that. This could be a whole nother video in itself, really, but basically it allows the network to be, what would you call it? I guess sharing of the network via...
Well, if I can provide a little background, it's funny that me and Luke were talking about making this video about network of networks and explaining why Overledger has such a pivotal role to play in this ecosystem. And lo and behold, then they unleash this monster on us. And so I think actually covering network of networks does kind of explain what Overledger network is going to bring to the table.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely a bit of a weird timing, but obviously Ghost and I are very excited about it. And so this video is trying to help you guys understand what a meta platform is, or what is a network of networks, because a lot of people probably just see the buzzwords and stuff, don't really understand how it captures value or what it's good for. And to start from there, we thought we would touch on just a quote from Paul Krugman, who's an economist. You've probably seen it before. This is Ghost's recommendation to bring it up. It's quite funny. It says, the growth of the internet will slow drastically as the flaw in McKelvey's law becomes apparent. Most people have nothing to say to each other. By 2005, it will become clear that the internet's impact on the economy has been no greater than the fax machines. Right?
I mean,
yeah.
Krugman said the internet isn't worth anything, guys. Let's pack it up and go home.
I mean, Jesus. I mean, the largest companies in the world, you're like Google, Facebook, Amazon, they're all built off of the internet. So I think it just goes to show the power of network of networks. And so I think this is probably a good intersection into what McKelvey's law is. So basically, it's a concept that defines the value of a network is derived from the proportion of number or participants connected to it. So for example, the internet's
show them the picture, the one where
sure. This one?
No. On Google search. Yeah.
This one?
Go to the star versus the really densely interconnected one, the difference.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
So, if you see right there, you're 5 people, you have 10 connections.
Oh,
right?
This one's probably a better one.
Yeah, no, it's the one you already had. Well, Bitcoin, yeah, that's also useful, right?
That's awesome.
I mean, it's true. That's kind of, it's a really, critical thing where, critical mass and, again, network effects are real. And so, wait, to get back to that previous image, the 5 and, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Look at how, 5 people is double the amount of connections. But 10 people is almost 5 times the amount of connections.
Right.
And so it's not linear. It scales in a way that the more networks you add to the more nodes you add to a network, the greater the value that comes from it, essentially.
Right. That's a good way. That's actually a really good diagram. You see that the number of people doubles, but the connections is almost 5 times. It's like an exponential growth.
Yep.
So basically, that's what we kind of wanted to touch on today, and how that creates value in a network. I mean, the McKelvey's law pretty much defines the values of networks, and this is a great article that Ghost linked me to a while ago, to be honest. And if you're a bit more inclined to get deeper into this whole concept, it's a 45-minute read, but
it's intense.
Yeah.
But I mean, relatively accessible. There's some deep math in it, so if you are feeling like your technical tooth needs a little something to chew on, then this is your jam. But yeah, I think Luke found a really good diagram that really applies.
Yeah, this is pretty much just like Overledger summed up. What is it? Summed up in like one picture for me, really. So as you can see, you've got like the meta platform in the middle, which, as you guys would know, is Overledger, and it facilitates the transfer of value and communication between all these other platforms and networks. And because of that, it allows it to kind of capture the value in between.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I think it's also important to note that there's been a few historical examples where a platform has been able to interconnect other networks and it's grown exponentially. Some of these examples, Ghost and I were just talking about this before. Some of the examples is obviously everyone thinks of the internet, right? And how the internet connects people across the globe instantly.
Yeah.
But there are also other examples such as telecommunications, modern transportation. I mean, you think things like railroads. Railroads allowed America to grow exponentially during the Industrial Revolution because they could transfer, like coal and raw materials across the nation quickly.
Absolutely.
So the important thing we had to mention there is we were talking about these previous examples of networks and network effects and meta platforms have usually shared the wealth between a small group or a single entity. For example, railroads, you've got the Vanderbilt family and the Rockefellers. They really captured the majority of value and wealth shared from that network effect, where Ghost and I were saying that with the introduction of blockchain technology and peer-to-peer networks, especially in the Overledger platform, which brings us back to the gateways, it allows the network participants and the common people to share in the wealth of this meta platform. And I think that's why it's so exciting. Did you have anything to touch on that, Ghost, on how Overledger?
Yeah, man, you're killing it. I think you're definitely like on the right rail. But for real though, like ARPANET, wasn't. It was just a test, as a proof of concept for a long time.
Right.
And it took the mediation of these computer networks, the invention of TCP/IP, with, I think it's Vin Cert, I think, that came up with that from University of Berkeley. And it took like, and if I get like, I'm gonna pull that diagram up because the topology is just really cool. And funnily enough, right, there's one node on this graph that is of particular importance, I think, to at least Quant.
Right.
If that's the wrong one. Yeah, because there's different levels of sophistication that that ARPANET came under as it was developing. But one of the key nodes that it captured was UCL. Right. UCL was an essential extension of ARPANET. I think I found it actually.
Do you want to share it or?
Yeah.
Sweet. So just to we should probably recap. So for those of you who don't know, and I'll probably get this wrong, but ARPANET was essentially like the first lengths into the internet as we know it today, I suppose. So
here it is, right here, University College London, England.
Boom.
And yeah, I think frankly they needed interoperability between one another. As you see here, the symbol G is like for University College London because it's an internetwork gateway.
Right.
Between wait. Yeah. So this is Cambridge, Massachusetts, goes to West Virginia, then this satellite, then it goes to England, and then it goes to University College London. And then that leads to London. And so these were two totally different networks. They were working in different architectures, and yet via TCP/IP, because they adopted that as a standard, they were able to reconcile that. And so it's just a neat little piece of history that UCL is like playing the same role again as a key pivot in developing this new network.
Yeah, exactly. For those of you who don't know, in my previous video, I brought up the fact that
you can share now, Luke.
Yeah, cheers. I brought up the fact that UCL really helped the birth of Quant in the early days and helped develop Overledger to what it is. And so you can see Ghost is drawing
Thanks, Paolo Tasca.
Yeah, exactly. Paolo Tasca, pretty massive proponent of Quant. But I think Ghost is drawing the parallel there that UCL seems to be onto the same thing again, allowing the development of TCP/IP allowed the internet to grow from something that was, isolated networks into a massive network of networks, as we were talking about, a meta platform, and you can kind of see the parallels with Overledger today, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you're probably sitting there thinking,
do you mind if I nerd out a bit here?
No, yeah, absolutely. Go for it. All
right. Well, there's two other things along with railroads that I think are really key to point out. One of which is, and both of these are so sad because each of these companies right now are in dire straits. They're both seminal American companies that have been like infrastructure that like has been around here since, like, as Luke was saying, like this like industrial revolution, turn of centuries, like the deep American icons. And these companies were pivotal in like developing of these meta platforms. And the first one's Bell, Alexander Graham Bell, his invention of the telephone, and AT&T. And the second one is General Electric, which is Thomas Edison, actually, GE. So both AT&T and GE were key pivotal developers of like the meta platform of telephones and the meta platform of electronics. And they generated so much new wealth from their enterprises that AT&T actually had to be broken up. Like Bell, I think it was like Bell Telephone, I think that's what it was, had to be broken up by America because it was a monopoly. It had such a stranglehold on the value production that happened when you interconnect different cities, different like neighborhoods of telephones. And so that's the really cool part about blockchains, and more specifically about Overledger, is that this isn't being cannibalized or hoarded by singular individuals or even families that are trying to monopolize platforms. What we're seeing here is like an open standards approach in which like anyone can participate if you are able and willing. Like the democratization of finance is happening in a way that's like absolutely unprecedented. And it's just really frankly incredible. Like this is like a once in, I think Gilbert was saying every 30 years, but I think he's underselling it. I mean, like we're experiencing like a type of revolution that like I like some will think I'm heretical to say this, but like Martin Luther like was enabled, his protest of the Catholic Church only happened because of the printing press. This new technology that allowed for his what was it, like 50 points or 15 points?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, his I'm butchering it, but it's essentially just because he was able to spread his critique of the Catholic Church, it gave rise to this entirely new Protestant church. And again, like this new technology is birthing so much greater expression of freedom, of like liberty, and of personal like enrichment that I think, is both like simultaneously surprising and wonderful and also like inevitable. It's really wonderful to be a part of it. Like this is like one of those key pivotal times in history that we're going to look back on and we're going to say, wow, you're part of like Quant Network, just like, wow, you were in Google or Microsoft when they were first going on. Like
I know. I mean, a lot of people say that almost like as a meme, but like in reality, like the scope of this is so huge that, I mean, I'm going to go back to like just this initial video. Like they are truly building a platform that will
go down to all the different layers too.
Yeah, exactly. This is actually a great. If you haven't you probably guys haven't seen this, a lot of you, because you probably haven't caught up with the news. But I think it's just exciting to see that. I mean, blockchain and like peer-to-peer networks, it just opens up so many like new economies and businesses and things like that. But more importantly, like the main selling point of Overledger, I'm just going to jump over this graphic here as well. A lot of people focus on the fact that it can interoperate DLTs and blockchains, right? But a lot of people miss out the fact that it also connects existing networks as well. And so when we're talking about like a hyper-connected world, you don't always have to think about, it's just connecting Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're talking about, global enterprises, global systems being interconnected, at scale. And I think that's pretty exciting to see, as we've mentioned, just like the birth of a meta platform.
Yeah, and if you were living under a rock, you would you might know that like the theme of Sandbox this year was living in a hyper-connected world.
Exactly, and I think IBM's also. Yeah, it is funny to see that these are like the largest corporate, financial service companies in the world, and they're pushing for the same thing that Quant is literally born to build. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you want to show them that that IBM? I'll pull that up. Actually, don't worry.
You sure? I can probably Google it.
Yeah, no problem. I got it.
Cool. So yeah, today basically we wanted to explain to you guys how McKelvey's law applies to networks that capture value, right? And we know that Overledger, the center of Overledger is the token, and we now know that the gateways is a way for network participants to share that value. And so I think it's very easy to see how, as the network grows and grows and grows almost exponentially, you see the accumulated value of the network also grow exponentially, which is thankfully shared among network participants. Here we go. What do we got?
So I just typed in like IBM network of networks, and like there are three different like points in which IBM's like pounding the table, like network of networks, network of networks, network of networks, like in specific application of blockchain as well.
Right.
Because and the reason is you're going to see this over and over again. Blockchains are like, they're the root of trust in a world that's inundated with like fake news and like hearsay and deep fakes and all these different like noise. Like you need a source of truth. And so by having by leveraging a blockchain and its data structure, you're able to like build this internet of trust that like Gilbert Verdian is like talking about. And so so IBM, like right here, it's February 13th. Provenance of data, supply chain, flow of money, payment of token, ultimate potential of blockchain is a creation of network of networks, bringing together a trusted economy. Brilliant, wonderful.
Exactly.
And then we got December 3rd, 2018. Hasara's got this basically yellow pages, technology-enabled networks, very good. Web. Wow. Who's building that? Interoperability. Wow, great. I love that. That sounds like a good idea. Bridging the gaps. All right, Fabric. Yes, you can do a lot of stuff with Fabric. Oh, but wait, networks coming together, a mashup application. Wow, that'd be so cool. I just throwing that out there. And then, like, September 9th, 2019, we have this article by them, which is executing the vision on making it real. A true blockchain network of networks. And so it seems that like things are starting to come to a head in a lot of different corporate environments.
Mm. And they all seem to be pushing for the same thing, Ghost. They're all seem to be pushing for that hyper-connected world where all these networks will be able to like fluidly communicate. And I think it's just exciting to see that that's the very premise Quant was built for, really. Yeah, here you go. Look at this swift
absolutely.
ripple.
We also have a NATBA showing up here.
Oh,
which is that's
interesting.
Neat.
For those of you who didn't know, we were also part of an hour.
Yeah, I love multi-ledger signatures. Those are great. Those are really useful. I mean, I wonder. So yeah, man, we have definitely we have like at the very least a technological legend that is like also on board, at least like thematically with Quant's vision.
Exactly. So do we want to talk about how the token comes into play here, or do you want to touch on the Sandbox environment first?
Sure. Yeah, let's you lead the way, like the token. Like why the hell do you need QNT?
Right, so for those of you who probably don't know, but Overledger's system, at the very center, the token is required for, all licensing, transactions, encrypting and stuff like that. But on a more on a grander scheme, when we're talking about this meta platform, the token allows the network participants to share in the value of the network. As you were saying earlier, a lot of these previous meta platforms had very central wealth, monopolized between certain companies or certain entities. Whereas the token in the ecosystem, not only does it power it, but through gateways, it allows people and participants to be rewarded. And so I think we're going to see a new kind of economy where, facilitating the network equals proportional, sharing of the profits as well. So it's, it's hard to see a world where a meta platform designed to interoperate all these networks and accumulate exponential value where the token is at the center and everyone's sharing the wealth through the token. I mean, it just seems like all the ducks are lined up in a row here, but did you have anything to add on the token there, Ghost? Or
I have 3 very important letters.
Right.
Can you guess them?
Oh, gee, 3 important letters.
I wonder.
I don't know.
What letters could I possibly mean by this?
I'm gonna go with Universal Utility Token or UUT.
Bingo! He's got it. Ding, 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 ding.
Right.
QNT is the only Universal Utility Token on market. No other even interoperability protocol that claims interoperability, like Polkadot, Cosmos, Wand Chain, the list goes on and on. Can really claim it, mainly because, and I think me and Luke touched on this really, really, really succinctly before. A lot of these previous empires, right, of railroads, electricity, the telephone, the internet, even that we're seeing right now with big data giants, right? All these guys are monopolizing their positions. They're cannibalizing the value that's being produced and putting it on their platform and making a walled garden, essentially. And so the cool thing about QNT is that it's extremely lightweight. Overledger itself does not impose consensus, and that's so essential. You don't need that. It's totally optical. And so building a network of networks based on optics is it's so brilliantly simple. And it allows for this democratization of finance and frankly the embodiment of beneficial relationships. There's no cannibalization here. There's just, do you want your blockchain platform to access all the other blockchain platforms that are working as well instead of competing with it? If so, Overledger is the only choice. And
right.
QNT embodies this with its universal utility token.
Yeah, I think that's, you've hit it on the the nail on the head there. It's a fluid and flexible solution, but more importantly, the token for once in the space actually captures not just the the utility. When you think about Overledger, it's not just people seem to focus on Quant itself, but really it's capturing the utility of all the underlying networks. And so when we touch on things like McKelvey's law, and you see that exponential growth in network participants equals exponential growth in value, you can see that as more networks, Hyperledger, Enterprise 1, Enterprise 2, Fabric, Ethereum, as all these networks come together, the sole source of value capture is QNT, because as Gilbert's named it, it's the universal utility token. It allows it allows the network to just capture that in a way that nothing else in the space really does, I think. Cool. I think there was one more thing I wanted to branch off of this kind of like this universal platform, and Ghost and I have been talking about it for a few days, and it's something I've been realizing is more and more important as time goes on. But it's a sandbox environment that Overledger allows, right? And so what do I mean by that? I mean, in the current blockchain environment, it's tough for developers or enterprises to build applications without locking themselves in or code forking. And so what Overledger does is it allows these enterprises and developers flexibility to be able to pick and choose between different protocols and different innovations without risking, the core of their systems. And so what I see happening, and this is what I've been talking about a little bit to some people, is something I like to call like connector FOMO. And I'm probably going to make a whole video on this, but essentially, McKelvey's law, as the Overledger network grows and grows and grows, there'll be more people wanting to connect to the pool of developers and enterprises and clients as the network gains traction and more value. And so you'll see people wanting to build their own connectors to Overledger projects, like maybe like Omise Go, Elastos. These people, right? If
I think Omise Go is dead in the water.
Oh, do you? Oh, I was just naming projects.
It's really sad. I mean, like Plasma. You remember Plasma? How it's so hyped.
Yeah.
They haven't even like updated the website that they released it on.
Right.
Since 2017 when they first announced Vitalik and I think what's his name? He's involved with that new domain name system group. Oh shoot, how can I forget his name? Yeah, it's like on plasma.io. It like, oh gosh, it's even worse. Oh no. Okay, they did update it. August 8th. Plasma contracts. Interesting. All right, cool. I'll have to read that.
It's back. It's back. It's breathing.
It's breathing. Yes, it's alive. Joseph Poon. That's his name.
I think Joseph Poon. Interesting name.
I've met him. He's a really smart guy. He's extremely loyal to the Ethereum ecosystem. Sure.
Right.
But he likes Alex vision.
I think it's actually a good point that you brought up, that some of these projects or like innovations and stuff might be like slowing or struggling to get adoption, because it kind of encourages that sandbox environment. And like, if I can expand on that a little bit, as I said, these enterprises and stuff don't want to lock themselves into, let's say, Omise Go, because they're unsure of their future, right? And Ghost had a good way of saying this before. It's like creating a different virtual self or different versions of yourself. And so by using Overledger as a platform you can essentially fork your own applications onto different protocols and test them out in a safe and flexible way, right? And so I think it's going to be exciting to see how that plays out, and especially as I mentioned, connector FOMO.
I have a Miklos hint to drop for the first time. Like
Miklos hint.
I've got something I think that is very interesting related to what you're talking about.
Right.
And it's let's start it off with share. All right. Gilbert Verdian, great meeting today at the Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, discussing supervision, compliance, and how to support upcoming regulation. RegTech, FATF, which is the Federal Action Task Force, the 5th Anti-Money Laundering Directive, 5 AMLD, blockchain, and of course, hashtag Q&T. So yeah, what is the FCA? The FCA is a regulatory body that's very prevalent, not only in the UK but in the world. And one of the interesting things that it announced recently was something called the Global Financial Innovation Network. And so definitely you should look this up. What is the Global Financial Innovation Network?
Do you know
see, and as you can see, including the FCA, like what is this? Like, what does this have to do with sandboxing, Luke?
Well, I think it's exactly what we were just talking about. It allows all of these enterprises, and even like in some instances, sovereign states, to look at, as Ghost has highlighted there, a global sandbox, which is what it is. It's an innovative space for new technology and new networks to be able to test out different applications and integrations without compromising anything, I suppose, in a flexible and like really no overhead manner. And I think that's what Overledger is. It's also, I also want to touch on this fact, Ghost, as we're talking about the GFIN. If for those of you with a keen eye, in the Atlas announcement, which is the open banking product that Quant released, they actually referenced this GFIN with Data 61, and probably as a representative of ASIC, as Ghost has just highlighted there. So we can see that Quant is definitely involved in this in some way.
I think, Luke, you might be a little biased, considering heritage. But there might be something to it.
Maybe, possibly. Anyway, to round back, I don't want to drag. Well, Ghost and I could probably talk about this for days, but I don't want to drag on too long. Here we go. He's going to bring it up. Oh, I think it might actually be the blog post, the one underneath it. Yeah. Oh, or maybe not.
Yeah, I think the blog post. You're right.
I think it's the blog post. Yeah.
This one?
No, it's the one above it, I think. Oh, maybe it could be this one.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, someone else has written something about it.
I've never seen that blog post. That's cool.
Neither. Here we go. I think it's down here under Vision or something.
Payment Services Directive 2 again. I think that has to do with open APIs, right? It's like open banking, but for the EU. Open banking. Yeah, of course. TPPs. What were these again? These were. It was really weird. It was a really strange entity.
It's like, is it targets or something?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Like we got to know this. This is embarrassing. It's not the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Third-party provider. That's it.
Yeah. That sounds obvious in hindsight.
Well, it's just basically someone handling your banking network while still like being connected to the bank.
I think it's under. Yeah, here it is. Vision.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And bingo.
Yeah, there it is. It's
in plain sight. In plain sight. GFIN with Data 61, which is basically like, maybe I'm overhyping them, but Luke, you know this as well as I do. They're basically the DARPA of Australia.
Pretty much. If you don't know, Data 61 also helps with the development of Red Belly. I know a lot of people in the community like Red Belly.
Red Belly is such a taller architecture. It's so good.
And also, Data 61 helps with the Australian national blockchain. I kind of find it funny how Gilbert's just like thrown that in the blog release. Like it's almost just like a single sentence on its own, just like points to the GFIN. Look, it's just so out of. I love that. I actually love that.
It does speak for itself, and I think everyone has slept on this. And of course, look at where it goes to. It goes to the FCA. So the FCA is leading their point man for the GFIN.
Jeez.
So, yeah, man.
It's exciting, that's for sure. Anyway.
Very promising. Absolutely.
Well, I think we should wrap up the what was I talking about? The Sandbox.
We're getting a little bit. Oh, I wonder why I'm bringing up the BIS, but I won't get into there.
Oh boy.
All right.
I'll wrap up the Sandbox thing. So basically,
if you want to read the Meta Platforms article by Sam Smith, It's such a great article. It really is amazing. It's not that intimidating. It's just comprehensive.
Just eat it in 10-minute chunks. Every time before breakfast, is like read 10 minutes, come back to it.
Every time before brekkie.
Yeah.
That's right.
Your meta platforms content before brekkie. Get on it, guys. Anyway, I think I'm going to draw back that Sandbox thing into a bit of a simple example for you guys, right? And I mean, I think the most relatable one that I can think of is Netflix, right? I mean, why do you buy Netflix? You buy Netflix because it allows you access to hundreds and thousands of pieces of content and innovations from everyone, right? In a single place. That's flexible, it's cheap, it's reliable, right? And now you may ask, would Netflix be worth it with 2 or 3 people or 2 or 3 pieces of content? I mean, look, probably not. But as you can see, the more shows and stuff that goes on Netflix, the more valuable the Netflix platform becomes. And in turn, the more valuable it becomes, the more users are going to use it. And then in turn, more film companies and stuff want their content on that platform. And I think in a simple term, that's how Overledger can act as a sandbox in a literal sense. Even if we're talking just in a crypto sense, I mean, a lot of these projects are going to struggle to get traditional adoption. And if there's a way for their innovations and new protocols and stuff to have instant access, I mean, instant accessibility to like hundreds and thousands of devs and enterprises, I mean, it just seems like a no-brainer for me. And so, I mean, I imagine a world, connector FOMO is what I call it, whereas as the network continues to grow, you just see like an exponential number of networks joining on, because why not? It's beneficial for all. All right, I think we're wrapping it up.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait till we just see what people can do as they have basically an orchestra of different blockchains, all available right at your fingertips. It really is going to open up, like, people compare like what you could have Netflix available at your hands, and like maybe Instagram. I don't know, but like those are just so, like, what do they do? You share photos. But
It's
we're
trivial.
connecting the internet of value, the internet of trust. It's just really it's just such a powerful platform. It's going to be so amazing to watch unfold. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Before I wrap up, is there anything more you wanted to add to that?
I think this is a good time to stop. Again, like you said, we can just talk forever. But yeah, let's limit it for now.
Yeah.
Good night, guys. Good morning, wherever you are.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. Hope we helped you understand the value proposition for Quant as a meta platform. Thank you especially to Ghost for popping on. It was good to chat.
I hope I wasn't too chaotic.
No, it's good, man. It was good. So we hope to be able to do this again in the future, and get different guests on and different opinions and stuff like that. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and have a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. See you guys later.
See you
Bye.
guys.